Okay, looks like we are live. Hello, friends and adventurers, and welcome to Salliekat Streams Avernum, with me, Salliekat, and Garnet, my black cat, who is on my lap right now, and might be giving us some squeaks. Come on, Garnet, do the thing. Or maybe she'll just be content to sit here and purr for a few minutes. Anyway, when last I left off, we had recently killed Sistis, the Salliekat warlord. Then we got sent over to Fort Remote to discover that it's been absolutely overrun by demons, and oh no, Greyhoth is after us now. Or Greyhoth is able to strike out from his prison. Greyhoth being big bad demon lord, very bad news. But I'm not going to go chasing after him just yet because there are still gremlins in the neighborhood. And I should have enough space in my inventory. Okay, yeah, Githa doesn't have a lot, but yeah, I've got some slots. If need be, maybe I'll, I don't know, use a scroll or something to free up space. Okay. The Maze of the Gremlins. Anyone attempting to steal our gold will be messed up. So if you've been following this stream, then you've seen a little bit of this place, maybe. You've entered a strange structure, its walls dug carefully out of the dirt and covered with a strange, smooth, waxy substance. From the darkness within, you hear scraping noises, and the occasional burst of manic laughter. Occasionally, you also hear something that sounds like a scream. You hope that's not what it is. Also, I need to rearrange windows here a little bit. There we go, now I can see my chat. Hey there, Kelly, and Star Dreamer. And there's a gremlin firing its charm ray. Ow. Both of my fighters charmed is probably not good. Oh, that's right, I wanted to give Githa some levels in priest skills, in part to avoid this very thing. So, unfortunately, Githa has no skill points to spend at present. Though I could always go to Silverlock and buy some skill potions, or knowledge brews, or what have you. Gremlins are annoying because they charm me, but they're also very weak and easy to kill. You're not a gremlin, but I don't much like you either. Teleporter that I can't reach from here, and a gremlin that I can reach with arrows. Or bolts, whatever. Going to be a little annoying to regather my party members. That's a room. I really miss how Exile handled it, where I could regather my party members from wherever, even when they were widely scattered across the map. Anyway, I know there's going to be secret passages in here. There's one. Yeah, I saw you there. Loot boxes? Loot boxes indeed. We've got 10 gold coins. And 5. And 5. That's a lot less impressive than gold coins usually are. Magrat, Uncharmed Githa, and then Esme. Oh, there's only 2 of them now. What do you mean? Of course I'm within 5 spaces. Silly game. Oh, yeah, with Charming. Suspiciously empty spot on the map here. And it's a room with nothing in it. Yay! I feel like this dungeon is going to be mostly wandering around, having Magrat uncharm my fighters, and complaining about how difficult it is to regather my party. Hey, Leafy Nebula. Owie. Okay, you're charmed but good. I must have hit a different spell rather than Unshackle Mind. Oh, that really hurts. Okay, bolts go to Githa and arrows go to J. Yeah, Jay being a very skilled fighter with a very powerful sword, unfortunately means that it's very painful when he gets charmed. Like that. Or when Githa gets charmed and... yeah, I'm going to pretend that makes sense. One party member gets charmed and suddenly the other party member has to attack her, and I can't get to that chest from here. How rude. Tricksy gremlins. Yeah, I kind of want to finish exploring one corner before I move on to another. Though the layout of this dungeon makes that kind of hard. But at least you get a map this time. Hidden portal. pool of water. Zap? How did you zap me? Gremlin harms J for 4. Okay. Oh, I can't see that mushroom with anyone aside from Githa because there's a wall there. So apparently gremlins do enjoy their wine. Whether it's cheap wine or a Chardonnay 85. Gremlins also don't seem to mind hanging around with poison fungi. That's true, gremlins do like to party a lot. They like to make friends whether I want them to or not. Back over here. What's going to be more annoying to explore, the front corners or the back corners? These maps don't really make it easy to remember where the secret passages are, but then the old Exile maps didn't always do that either. Well, that's not true. The map didn't make it easy, but there was at least a hidden door graphic that would show up once you found the secret passage. Mushroom Merlot, 91. Okay, I can't actually progress past here because of height difference and water. There you are. Does it count as within 5 spaces if one of my party members is on the other side of a wall? Apparently that works. Cool. Different type of building here. Some empty jugs. And who's this guy? someone decent enough to wear pants and a shirt, so probably human and not gremlin. Not that gremlins' clothing preferences are ever actually established. But drinking lots of wine is not always compatible with wearing pants. Okay, nothing in there. Can't get my bolt. Okay, I believe I've explored everything that's easy to access, so it's time to start playing with portals. If I can remember how to... There. That works. So I'm betting that this one hidden off in the corner is the one I actually want. But let's see where some of the easier to find portals take me first. They're safe, usually. That's a lot of bones. Oh, that's gonna hurt. You're trying to jump off a ledge, possibly hurting yourself a great deal. Do you really want to do this? I don't have much of a choice. Ow. Yeah, apparently that's where the gremlins have the guests that they don't like stay. How do walls work? Here's a bit I didn't explore yet. With another room-sized empty patch, this one is somewhat better furnished. With cheap wine and flagons. Thought I'd killed all of you. Jay's archery is still a fair bit stronger than Githa's. That's another thing I'm working on. Yeah, Githa has 11 points and Jay has 14. She's catching up. Not that way. Well. I'm going to save before going into the nice friendly looking portal. And okay, I'm in one of the empty rooms. That's better than the first place. But enough of all that nonsense. Let's try some new, exciting nonsense. Oh yes. Ah, it's a good thing I have Dispel Barrier. Oh, hello. Oh, I can't. Okay, so that's a thing that exists. Also... Okay, so that's a portal that I can walk through, paying some health tax. A few more coins here. Oh ho! In the box, you find a collection of what looks like random junk. There are broken toys, scraps of chainmail, pieces of smoked chum, and other stuff you don't want. At the top of the pile, there is also a scroll with the royal seal of Avernum on it. I'll be taking that. Lost message! This message was misplaced. Hopefully, you can find its proper owner. I can take another portal out of here. Also, Esme does have a piercing crystal, which is effective on these barriers. Yay. Unfortunately, there's only one. Hello. You managed to summon a few friends. For all the good it does you. So is there actually anything back here? Yes, there is. Once again, saving. Now I am over here. Where I can grab a couple of bolts that got used. And actually investigate this portal. And now I'm in entirely new territory. I thought I saw two of you. That's why. No, I don't want bolt of fire, I want light. And here is some more gold. And I can pick up some of it, but I do have a maximum of 9,000 coins, apparently. I found a trap. Get the Kinder's arm that easily. Ooh, mind crystal. Significant number of coins. A rod of major call. For summoning potentially useful allies. And a ring. Okay, I've already hit my gold max, so I will just leave those coins here. I remember from the Exile version of this room getting a message on these chests about finding many coins from many ages and many lands, which I thought was neat. Oh, where am I? What just happened to their game? Oh, I never did find that box. Huh. I suppose I could bumble around and see if I can figure out which portal takes me to that one. There we go. So a few more coins, which I immediately drop. And more unidentified jewelry. Not a bad haul. Of course, now, again, I have to take damage to get out of here. Not a lot of damage. doors. Well, that was perhaps a tiny bit less annoying than the previous version of the Gremlin Cave, Gremlin's Gold. You return to Alexi's camp, bearing the message. He takes it from you eagerly. And here's your reward. I don't have any money, but I do have this. He pulls out a pair of gauntlets. I won these in a game of cards. The guy swore to me up and down they were magic. Well, even if they aren't, they're very nice. Take them with my compliments. Oh, he adds, thank you for saving my life. He quickly packs up camp and leaves to the east. You're welcome. Since I am pretty close to Silverlock's hut, once I remember which specific area it's in... There we go. I have too much money, and she can help me with that problem. Knowledge Brew is the thing I want. Because my party needs to be even more overpowered. That's Fort Emerald. I don't think there's anything else I need to do at Fort Emerald. Okay, so one use of Knowledge Brew. I feel much smarter. And gives me 5 free skill points. Well, free in the sense that I don't have to level up for them, but I did exchange gold for them, so. Hey, now I can train. Nostalgia is weird. Quite a lot of Exile Escape from the Pit is just burned into my brain because I played it when I was 8 or so years old. Okay, Githa, let's give you a little more priest spells and a little more archery. Oh, and I can potentially train Barter and Pathfinder. She just came with Find Herbs. And at some point I picked up some resistance. You have learned how to evade magical attacks. I wouldn't be surprised if the arrow firing sound shows up in some other smaller games of this era. I know Jeff used a lot of, like, royalty-free type resources. Also, hello Renard and RLW. Good to see everyone on a Friday night. Lots of stuff identified. Ring of Agony, where did I pick that up? Gauntlets of Might, that's different. In Exile, these were... I don't remember if it was Micah's gloves or Nimble gloves. I think it was a set of Nimble gloves that would increase your skill with traps and locks. But Gloves of Might prevents a decent amount of damage for gloves, and greatly increases your chance of hitting and damage in combat. I think I will be wearing those. Well, I can't do that while I'm in conversation, haha. Also, this Mind Crystal is Blade Master. quite a lot of jewelry to identify here. Archer's ring, ring of exposure, ring of vulnerability. Provides magical protection from fire, cold, and a variety of other magical effects. Somehow I think that protection is in the negative values, if it's a ring of exposure and it's worth very little. You can only hope the effect is beneficial. No, it is not. Yeah, ring of vulnerability, same thing. A harm charm. Oh, that sounds fun. This item makes you feel weak. Very weak. Silly gremlins keeping such useless to humans items. And this is a mind crystal of resistance, if I want someone else to have some of that skill. Which I probably do. Yep. There's that. But yeah, Blade Master gets bonuses when using any sort of hand-to-hand weapon. The more of this powerful skill you have, the more likely you are to hit and the more damage you will do. So I don't remember if that functions like the Elite Warrior perk. I think it's its own thing. Now, who needs gloves? McGrath needs gloves. So I've got quite a bunch of rings to drop somewhere. Gremlin prank, indeed. Okay, so... Item will be gone forever. Still drop it? Yes. I have too many magical items on me. I can sell that extra archer's ring. Unless I start feeling like training up Esme or McGrath into archery, which I could. Actually, which is more effective, the Fletcher's ring or the archer's ring? Well, the archer's ring is worth twice as much, so probably that one. You're right, Renard. The problem isn't too many magical items, it's not enough inventory space. So, let's see. I've done a lot in the Slith territory. I've cleaned up that corner of Avernum. I suppose if we want to be hunting down Greyhoff, it is a good time to start heading towards the Abyss. So I see a weird little map fragment here that could be indicative of a secret passage or other content, but also could be indicative of nothing. Spot. Oh, that's potentially something. Some bandits have hidden a stash of loot here. There's a bunch of gold and a nice helmet. There doesn't seem to be any point in letting them keep the stuff. Indeed not. I got a steel helmet, which is actually quite a bit better than anything else I've got. Wow, I do not have any magical helmets yet. And now, for the first time in this playthrough, Fort Saffron. This long passage runs straight through the middle of the fort. It's a small fort. There aren't many soldiers stationed here. They have magical help, though. The glyphs carved into the floor in the passage glow slightly and radiate heat. You imagine that a grim fate awaits any hostile forces who try to force their way through here. That is indeed a bunch of runes. This is Commander Novak. A weary man sits at the table writing out orders. He wears the traditional robes of a mage. Tiny runes have been woven into the cloth. Can you tell me about this fort? He sighs. Welcome to Fort Saffron. I'm in charge here. Here at Saffron we work hard, day and night, to keep Avernum safe from brigands. He rolls his eyes. I think I'm going insane. Insane? What caused that? I was drafted, plain and simple. They needed mages, so they grabbed them. And me, a promising alchemist. So you're an alchemist. Did you work on anything interesting? Personally, no. But I was making a pretty penny. One of my colleagues, a fellow named Hodgson, was a better alchemist than me. Ask him about it. I know the name Hodgson, but I don't remember where he is. He leans close to you and whispers. He was going to try some experiments with grey mold. That's right, I need to go north and find the grey mold patch. But then he had to go into the army. They got us both. He's at one of the great cave forts now. Fort Emerald, I think. Big waste. Maybe I'll hop over to Fort Emerald and see if Hodgson has anything else to say about this. So, are brigands a major problem out here? Yeah, but I've tried to keep the pass as safe as possible, of course, given we haven't been given any reinforcements, any new weapons, any acknowledgement we exist for months. They say keeping this pass safe should be simple. Simple, ha! That sounds frustrating. This pass is the only halfway decent path known from the brigand-ridden caves to the north to the Great Cave. You'd think they could never get through, but they get by somehow. I don't understand it. They must be invisible. Invisible? Hey, that's the only explanation I can come up with. Sometimes we see them. They approach the fort from the north, laugh at us, and disappear. Then we hear about raids to the south, and I catch hell from my bosses. But we can't do anything about it without resources. You must have some resources. People, mainly, and another mage for scrying. It takes all my energy to keep the wards up. The symbols on the floor out in the passage. They're harmless now, but I can make them incinerate anyone who touches them if the fort gets attacked. And it might. Interesting. There are several comfortable, unused beds in this room. You could probably get a few hours uninterrupted rest here if you wanted. Nice, but don't really need to. Can't really talk to the guards. Can I interact with the wheel? The wheel controls the fort gates. Okay, so I can open and close those. And that must be our other mage. Talking to Dilbert. You meet a beanpole of a man, wearing robes that hang loosely off his spare frame. He paces back and forth, muttering. Are you okay? He turns to talk to you. You see that he has extensive burn scars on his face. Do I look okay? I volunteered to maintain this fort. I look after the wards, mostly. Safer than some things I could be doing. He runs his fingers over the scar self-consciously. What wards? The huge runes out in the hall. They're off now, but when they're on, they're a powerful defense. How did you get those burn scars? I've been adventuring. Looks like your adventure wasn't too successful. He grimaces. I suppose, but that's because I was with the merriest band of incompetents you'd ever want to avoid meeting. We were trying to help ourselves to some of the Chasm Drake's loot. Unfortunately, we found its lair. It's far, far southwest in the tunnels to the west of Fort Remote. It was unfortunate that we found it, because only Sabrina and I got out. I don't really want to talk to it. I don't really want to talk about it. Ask her about the Drake. I'm sure she'd love to relive it. And she deserved to get burned instead of me. The whole mess was her fault, if she hadn't tripped that trap. A nasty trap? The Drake set magical traps everywhere. If you ever go there, be prepared to take it, and take it hard. One of those runes gave me these scars. Okay. This version of Avernum, I got it from GOG.com, or GOG.com, or goodoldgames.com, whatever you want to call it. The only caveat is that, despite being designed on the Macintosh, the GOG versions only run on Windows. Oh well. But the upside is you can get all 6 of the old Avernums for pretty cheap. Hello, you're a person. Talking to Mona. A woman with her arm in a sling and a grimace on her face sits in the cell. You aren't a soldier. I ain't gotta answer you. Piss off, Vole. Vole? I'm from the Abyss. You aren't. You are a Vole. Now let me out of here and get me my scimitar back. And as we have not discovered much about the scimitar, we can't really talk to her anymore right now. Wasn't finished exploring yet. So yeah, it seems there's not very much to this place. Or is there? I said, or is there? No? Okay, maybe I'll come back. This large cavern has a few sparse patches of mold and mushrooms, but it's mostly rubble and bare stone. It seems a sort of barren no man's land, dividing the Great Cave from the regions to the north. Oh yeah, I absolutely love the dialogue and Jeff's writing in these games. Rod of Major Call, definitely not a cell phone. Not exactly. Beware of bandits. Banditry punishable by death. Assuming that we can catch you. This road is constantly patrolled by Avernum soldiers. They warn you as they pass to watch out for bandit raiders. Interestingly, they don't seem to suspect that you're bandits. They must have heard of you. My reputation is growing. You meet a band of Avernum soldiers as you explore this tunnel. Their leader stops you. Be quiet, he whispers. We're setting an ambush for a group of bandits. They often travel down this path. You're adventurers, right? We have a tough fight ahead. We could use some assistance. You can help us out. Or you could be cowards and flee. How about it? Be cowards and flee. Now we'll help them. You wait with the soldiers for several hours, sharing stale bread and discussing local politics. They suspect that the bandits are working for the Abyss to the north, stealing goods from hard-working Avernites. Then, as promised, the bandits approach from the east. It's a good thing you decided to help. This small band of soldiers is clearly outclassed. Yeah, definitely outclassed, considering about 5 of them just got torched. But now the enemy mages are dead. Nope, don't target the friendly one. Any good loot? Some decent stuff. Iron bolts. Yeah, they've got pretty decent equipment, just nothing that I actually feel like picking up. Except the Fletcher's Ring, because that is nice and easy to carry. You are victorious, although several of the soldiers are grievously wounded. And crispy. After thanking you for your help, they gather up their supplies and chart a speedy course back to the safety of Fort Spire. What do we have here? Dropping like flies indeed, Leafy, and yeah, it is a very good thing for them that I showed up. Oh, there's a trap here. Now there isn't. I can't disarm traps in combat. Oh. Never mind, then. Ow. You are already annoying me, and I have just met you. Also, I think those Gloves of Might are already boosting Githa's damage output quite well. At this rate, I'm going to have more iron bolts than I know what to do with. Yes, this appears to be a bandit lair. As if that wasn't obvious from the bandits at the front of it. Hey, how's everybody doing? Much better than you're about to be, I assure you. You know, I'm half inclined to give Magrat a level or 2 of mage spells just so she can access the firebolt spell. Because in this game, priests don't really get a decent single target damage spell. Bars of lead, okay. These bandits have so much money because they haven't been paying their adventurer tax. I've come to correct that mistake. high-level enemies get high-level damage spell. You're sort of high-level. The door is locked. No, it isn't. Salliekat, well played. Oh, that's a bunch of you. You could get annoying. Why aren't you dead? Owie. Yeah, let's prioritize the human enemies. I'm getting a pretty good amount of targets on my Fire Blast spell. Very cool. Or Divine Fire, rather. Healing elixir is not a bad thing to pick up here. Adventurer attacks, they see adventurers, they attacks. Indeed they do. Yeah, the mage did summon some backup, but for being skeletons, they didn't turn out to have as much spine as he had hoped. Yeah, I tried to make that joke work, I'm not sure if it did. Is that a vampire up there? That's a vampire, and a wizard, and a couple of evil priests or acolytes. That's a pretty strong group up there. Things get pretty wild out here in the lawless lands outside of Avernum proper. That's a lot of summons. Please, continue wasting your spell points on summoning. Meanwhile... That's going to get very annoying. really not sure who I should be prioritizing here. Okay, so the skull means I'm terrified maybe, or weakened, or something. It doesn't mean paralyzed, because I was able to move. Evil High Priest casts Divine Warrior, but on a goblin. Wow. That is a spell that A, I don't have, B, can make a character ferociously effective, and you used it on a goblin. Okay then. Okay, who else can I reach from here? Still alive. Maybe I should do some slowing instead of straight damage. That's better. Oh hey, this vicious scarred man was the leader of the brigands. Now that he is dead, perhaps this band will be unable to continue their raids on the caverns to the south. Well done. He was definitely the object of a side quest in Avernum Escape from the Pit, the remake of this game, if not this game specifically. Now eat Fire Blast. Okay, so... Wizard did that. You are a high priest. You're a high priest. You're the wizard. Got it. Did you cast Divine Warrior on a goblin again? Oh my goodness. Got one of the priests. And the other one. Okay, enemy wizards. I don't like them. Finally. Now I might as well use my Repel Spirit against all these undead summons. Hee hee hee. Divine Warrior Goblin, how do you stack up against J? Not well. Well, that was fun. Ooh, steel large shield, that's sort of nice. And a few valuable rings. Iron chainmail is not bad. And a steel longsword. These must have belonged to the captain guy. I have a steel large shield already. Blessed studded. Iron chainmail is about as good as the blessed studded and will probably restrict my movement a little more, so I'm not actually going to pick any of this up. Hey, guess what you just missed? Basically that. A papyrus sheet. How thrilling. Aha! We've got a Wand of Koronos. Oh, fun. You know, I think I still haven't actually used a Wand of Koronos in-game. Also, Balm of Life. Yoink. Do I really need to pick up the emerald? Not really. Yeah, that is a lot of bones there. I think the bones are mostly from summoned skeletons dying. Oh, looks like a raiding party has just returned. And that is how you slaughter all of your enemies. Except that wasn't all of them. There we go. Oh, what do you mean there's another one of you? And here's something it looks like we can only get to by boat. Also something that looks rather messy and possibly slimy. And acidy. Ooh, Esme's basically out of spell points. Oops. More slimes. Shall I kill them with fire? Let's kill them with fire. Fire and some effective stabbing. That's a good question about using a Wand of Koronos on your own summons. Or even your own party members. I've never really tried, I always forget I have it. A thick book on this pedestal. Okay, now I can cast Summon Shade level 3. I may never use that. The pages of this book are unreadable. The moisture in this chamber has smeared most of the words. Maybe you could do something to make the words readable. You weren't sure what. Is that a thing in this game? I don't remember. The book itself is unreadable. The moisture of the chamber has smeared the pages. However, several interesting pieces of paper have been hidden in the back. They are letters from someone named Mina, giving instructions to the thieves who live there. They have been instructed to raid as many supplies as possible from the Great Cave, and to take them to the abyss to the north. The letters make it clear that they should avoid taking life in their travels. But if someone gets killed, it's not a big deal. This is interesting information. You take note of it. I think that's all there is to do here. There is some empty space in this corner, but I've already found basically 2 secret areas. Okay. So should I continue northward, or should I backtrack for identification and grabbing my boat for some grey mold salve? I'm not super full on the loot. And I only have one thing that's unidentified. Hello, what is this? Ah yes, the ruined bandit lair. You stand at the entrance to some sort of structure, perhaps a barracks or small settlement, perhaps a bandit lair. Unfortunately for its former occupants, it has recently been attacked. The walls have been blasted in, and in some cases, shattered by spells. Charred bodies are scattered in the ruin. So this place was attacked by something rather powerful. And what's left of the bodies makes them seem like they were basically grunts. Oh no, they got the red shirt! Oh, hi. It's not a gazer, but an eye beast. Some lockpicks I don't need. Some nice furs. Sack of meal. Which I think if I felt like carrying it around, I could sell it somewhere. Bit of cloth. I could always use a torch instead of my light spell. That way I can save spell points for important things. Like blasting the hell out of poison fungi. Among the charred papers on these shelves, you find a few scraps of somebody's notes and diary. This was indeed a bandit lair, responsible for vicious raids all over the Great Cave. Now the bandits are all dead, killed by eye beasts. You can't feel too bad about it. Alright then. Okay, Githa has some level of priest skill, but she doesn't know any spells. I need to figure out where I can learn healing for her. Probably back in Formalo. Ah, rats. Very tough rats. Can't get through there. Sometimes it is faster just to zap them with your mage than to hit them with your warriors. Of course, there's not going to be anything in here. Oh, there is a little something. What the heck? Oh, that's what paralysis looks like. Okay. Also, if there was an Avernum TV series or movie, I would hope that it's written somewhat more like the recent Dungeons & Dragons movie, Honor Among Thieves. I liked that one. Okay, so Githa is now paralyzed and also terrified. That is what the chicken symbol means. Okay, Skull is enfeebled, so that just means she's weaker. Not that any of that matters. Okay, what am I missing here? Because I am definitely missing something. Also, never mind that notification sound that just came up. Okay, not missing anything in that corner. Here we go. Yeah, traps just do not bother me anymore, and they haven't since I, recruited Andrew and turned him into Githa. Ooh, drakeskin armor. Esme's just wearing a robe. Drakeskin armor is probably a pretty good upgrade for that. Maybe. It says armor this week will interfere with spellcasting. Let's test that theory. Oh, hi. It's a twofer. Oh, they're casting Smite at me. Oh, I'm so terrified. But they're guarding something nice. Another mind crystal. Also, horns are sort of interesting. Oh, I can't even use it, it's just a decorative item in this game. This can make a very loud noise, in case that sort of thing is needed. So in Exile 2 and 3, I know there was a magic item, which was a horn that could summon some soldier allies. And they function just like any other magical summon. Again, is that all there is here? Not quite. Blessed short sword. Interesting. Okay, I think that's all there is to find here. Rather small, definitely very optional dungeon. And a very large chasm over here. You see a large group of armored men and women. They're sitting around a bonfire some distance away. They haven't noticed you. And I'm pretty sure based on their location that they are Avernum soldiers and not bandits. You approach carefully, afraid of a bandit ambush. Then you see that the people are wearing the insignia of the Avernum army. They seem to be friends. Still wary, you greet them. The commander tells you they are watching for bandits, and warns you that they have a hideout somewhere around here. You thank her and depart. They did have a hideout around here. Chasm of the Spire. Fort Spire. Be sure to check in before going across. And this time, there is someone we need to talk to who looks like a regular soldier. Wendy. A woman in chainmail sits watching through the barred window. What have you been fighting lately? Not much. I've been bored, mostly. Watching the people who go through, making sure only those who should return can. It's tedious work. I'd much rather be working on my hobby. Oh really, what's that? She smiles coyly. Weaponry. I collect blades. As a matter of fact, at the moment I'm looking for a scimitar. She looks at you as if she's expecting you to say something. What's a scimitar? She seems disappointed. It's a weapon. Very deadly. That's all I'm going to tell you. I'm very busy. Sorry. Okay then. This guy looks important. Talking to Bowman. A tall man with long, curly hair sits behind the counter working on a ledger. He wears nice clothes and a sash of office. Are you mayor here? Is this a place to be mayor of? It's a tower, not a town. Actually, I'm liaison for the Tower of the Spire. That's a fancy way of saying I greet visitors. This outpost is far too small to have a mayor, or even a captain. What spire? The one you're standing in. The huge stone pillar coming from the pit below, upon which this building is built. I'm sure you saw it while crossing the bridge. I'm guessing that the description of the spire and the chasm bridge triggered when we first saw the other end of it in a previous episode of live streaming, because it didn't trigger when we came up the usual way. There are two sorts of visitors: prisoners headed for the Abyss, and adventurers crossing on some fool's errand. What is the Abyss? That's what we call the huge cavern to the north, where we send all the violent misfits who don't belong in Avernum. I greet them, tell them what to expect, and brief them before they get sent on their way. So they get banished to Avernum, and then Avernum banishes them there? Ironic, isn't it? But necessary. Sometimes the Empire sends down a few hard cases to make our lives interesting. Murderers, pirates, worse. Criminals we don't need to execute get sent to the Abyss. We don't have the resources to imprison them. Yeah, I believe the opening narration of this game, and certainly of Exile, says that usually the Empire just executes murderers, pirates, etc. Is it safe for me to go up there? No. The residents of the Abyss are not fond of Avernites. Voles, they call us. They'll deal with you, but they can be very dangerous. Fortunately for me, I am also very dangerous. Do many adventurers head into the Abyss? Yes, Lord knows why anyone would want to go up there, but some do, and it's not my job to stop them. Anyway, I give them information, make sure they aren't smuggling anything, and check them in. Smuggling? What might people smuggle? Stolen goods and dangerous magic items, mainly. Nobody has yet made any dangerous drugs down here, thank goodness. But a lot of stolen items end up finding their way north of here. Yeah, dangerous drugs don't start showing up until the third game. Well, the people are awful. There are giants. Lots of bandits. Very unpleasant. That pretty much sums it up. I should check in. He asks your names, and writes them down, and writes them... He asks your names, and writes them down in a ledger. He also writes down brief descriptions of you. Finally, he says, "Excellent. Now, when you want to pass by, just walk right up to the gate to the east. A guard will let you through." Cool. I have, in previous playthroughs of Exile, forgotten to check in, and been unpleasantly surprised to find I can't easily cross back over this way. The sash shows that I am the chief representative of the Avernum government at this fortress. Any jobs that need doing around here? Yes, you seem well known enough that I can tell you. There is a bandit lair hidden south of here, between here and Fort Saffron. I've been authorized to give a bounty of 500 coins to whoever slays their chieftain. Good news, everyone! We killed that guy. Did you? That would explain the drop-off in bandit attacks recently. Well done. He leaves the room and returns with a sack of silver coins. Thank you for your help. The merchants of the Great Cave owe you a considerable debt. Reputations increased some more. I am now amazingly famous. Talk to Wendy, but I can also talk to you, Captain Allison. A thin woman with reddish blonde hair peers through a narrow barred window. Occasionally, she shifts uncomfortably in her armor. Well, I'm in charge of the tower, but we're short-handed, so I pull shifts watching the portcullis. The Tower of the Spire. An impressive piece of work, no? It's the main barrier between us and the reprobates of the Abyss. It's the prison of Avernum. I hear they have 2 towns there. They can do what they want, as long as they do it away from us. What's the first town? That would be Spire. Not to be confused with Fort Spire. That's an ugly place. Brigands, blood sports, a vicious, nasty mayor. Watch your back in there. And the second town. Barga. I don't know much about it. All I know is that they fight a lot of giants, and that some people there seem to be halfway decent. Only halfway, mind you. How do you know when to open the portcullis? I have lists of everyone we sent through, and who can come back. And if they aren't on them, we have to assume they belong in the Abyss. It's harsh, sure, but the Abyss is where we put the criminals. Thieves, murderers, and the like. We have a right to keep those people away from us. We're on the list. How do we pass through? Walk right up to the gate outside. We'll let you through. Cool. Another interesting person. Reynold. A priest with a sour expression sits at the table, guzzling ale. So what is it you're trying to forget? I'm a former missionary. He stresses the word former. Missionary from where? I just came from the Abyss. I was trying to bring some of their less horrible souls to a more peaceful state, when I suffered the fate of the holy. The derision of those who live far from grace. It could be worse, of course. They could have killed me. He sighs and drinks. Anyway, I failed and I fled. Now I'm going to the castle. Have you heard anything interesting up in the abyss? I have information of ongoing Wait, need some tea. I have information on goings-on in the abyss. There's 2 towns, Spire and Barga. Barga's to the north, and they're busy fighting off giants. They're doing much better than you would expect. They have some fierce fighters there. I've also heard rumors of a dragon, but nothing specific or useful. Okay, that's about all you've got. And cells. Talking to Paul. A small, balding man with a lined face and cold eyes looks at you. He's not what one would call inspiring of trust. I'm being sent to the abyss by these voles, and they don't want me to escape. Voles? That's what we abyss folk call the people of Avernum. Voles. Quiet, placid, content to hide in their holes. Aren't you technically not an abyss folk yet? As if we would want to be like you, or you're pathetic. You should. The people down here with courage, the lust to fight the Empire, to do what needs to be done, they're all in the abyss. Go up there. If you're lucky, you'll see what I mean. Until then, you aren't worth my time. On the surface world, I was an official, powerful and high in rank. Then a rival gets me sent down here, and the slugs down here have no sense at all. And the slugs would be? The pale voles like yourselves, people who had nothing to offer up above. I'm not like you at all. What makes you think we have no sense? I was in the running to be mayor of Almeria. I try a few minor maneuvers, things that would have been considered perfectly normal in the world above, and they get all self-righteous and send me here. The things I could have done for them. The worms. He spits in disgust. And if I tell him he's pathetic, he just spits at me and turns away. Okay. That's a rock wall outside, so there might not actually be anything hidden here. Yeah, don't mind me just doing regular inspection. This window provides an awe-inspiring view of the chasm and the spire the fort sits on, sloping away into the depths below you. Bats fly through the mist outside. The window provides a very scenic view, but the residents of the fort use it for a much more prosaic purpose, as a nearby chamber pot indicates. Lovely detail. Probably captain's quarters. And regular barracks. And kitchen. And I cannot talk to the chef, or cook. Now let's do this properly. You tell your names to the guard on the other side of the narrow, barred window. After a few moments, the portcullis slides open. Your way to the abyss is open. Welcome to the abyss. You are on your own. Spire, 25 miles north. And as you can see, I've already been to this little area. There is a somewhat difficult to access side passage over here, but most people don't use it because this rock quarry area tends to be full of undead and other unpleasantness. So I can definitely go northward and start exploring the abyss. But what's all this up here? You find an ancient obelisk with ruins on the north side facing the pool to the north. Huh. There's a large band of scruffy, heavily armed men and women here, sitting around a cavewood fire. It's very misty in this cavern, so you're able to get quite close without them noticing you. You try to listen to their conversation, but the sound carries very poorly. You aren't sure who they are or what they're doing here. Well, I usually get better results from approaching instead of attacking. You approach with weapons sheathed and hands out. When they see you, they grin. One of them yells, "Look, rich travelers, get them!" The bandits draw their weapons and attack. And they are soldiers, archers, and one evil priest. This shouldn't be too hard. Actually, you know what? Ooh, I have control foes level 3. One of the archers and one of the soldiers are now charmed. Aw, team kill. I was kind of hoping they would do anything at all for me. You find several sacks of loot in the camp, some of it still stained with the blood of its previous owners. The people here were bandits, and successful ones, until they met you. You fill your packs with supplies and coins. Your reward for your brave labors. Okay, so I get some coins and arrows, bolts, metal helmet, scroll. I have scroll of paralysis, scroll of ice lances, scroll of create illusions. Steel bolts, steel arrows. Another steel helmet. That's cool. And McGrath has too much stuff. So that takes care of the bandits. What is this? There's a small tunnel leading into the cave wall. You listen, smell, and look really hard, and use all your standard tricks to find out what's inside. You detect no clues. Let's walk in then. The cave is almost totally bare. All you find are a few odd-smelling scraps of cloth and a filthy, torn leather jerkin. It's worthless. Fortunately, your considerable cave lore knowledge comes in handy. On the way out, you find some valuable alchemical herbs. I get some mandrake. And again, McGrath has too much stuff. And Githa has too much stuff. It's about that time again for me to go to town and sell off some things, isn't it? Another small tunnel into the cave wall, which has basically nothing. I got grey mold. Well, okay then. I guess technically I don't need to go hunting down the one known grey mold patch anymore. Also, There is something interesting up here. This is the Crypt of Drath. I do not feel like dealing with it right now. That's gonna need potentially a whole other session just for it. It's also the main source of the undead I totally said were haunting this area, I just haven't seen any today. Okay. Regardless, between the undead and the bandits, it is pretty dangerous. And also the sliths. We can't forget there's a slith fort over here. Or there was before I came through. Okay, I'm sure that I can sell things in the Abyss. I'm less certain about identification. There's a strange patch of mushrooms here. They're very pretty. Thanks to your knowledge of cave lore, you also realize that this breed of mushroom often grows near mandrake. Searching through some scree, you manage to find a small patch of this valuable potion ingredient. Hooray, even more mandrake. This huge cave is dominated by a number of awesome stone spires. They are gray pillars, shaped like the dripping wax from candles, stretching from the cave floor to the ceiling many feet above. This is the Abyss. Avernum sends here all the criminals and violent exiles that can't fit in with the peaceful, cooperative society to the south. The Abyss has clearly been given the least desirable of the caverns of Avernum. Though this is a beautiful place, it is a rocky one. Mushrooms don't grow well here, and it's colder here than to the south. This is an inhospitable place, and potentially a very dangerous one. So let's start exploring the fringes of it, shall we? You would have to push your way through thick rope-like webs to continue down this large granite gallery. The webs are fresh and sticky. You look around and soon see the spiders responsible for the obstruction. They are approaching you slowly, fangs bared. They aren't very fast. You could easily slip away. No. Oh dear, giant spiders and also elder Araneas. The giant spiders aren't much of a concern. The Araneas might be. Smite continues to be underwhelming. Do I feel like picking up Aranea fangs to sell them back in Fort Draco? Not really. Aha! You find a very well-hidden cave. It's a small crevice in the wall. You wouldn't have noticed it if you weren't very close. The tunnel stretches for 50 feet and then opens up into a small chamber. Inside, you find a jumble of rubble and a few scraps of leather. You don't find anything interesting, so you leave. Aw. I wonder why that is there. I say as if I haven't played through this game multiple times over my life. You smell this hut long before you see it. There is alchemy going on here. Serious alchemy. The making of powerful potions, or at least highly noxious ones. When you get close, you can see a small, withered old man standing in front of this tiny stone hut. He is tending to a small patch of mushrooms, an unusual sign of life in these mostly barren caverns. You walk up to the old man and introduce yourselves. He says that his name is Zavlek, and that he provides the Abyss with potions for healing and other purposes. He politely explains that since you are from Avernum, he won't sell to you. Fair enough. Then he says, "I can help you, though. You are adventurers. Some drakes, very few, have black fangs. Very rare, but very valuable for the potions. Bring me one of them, and I will let you read a few of my magical scrolls. They may help you in your travels." With that, you bid him farewell. I don't remember if the black drake fangs were in Exile 1 or not. You meet a band of fighters. They aren't brigands exactly. They're the closest thing the Abyss has to a militia. When they get a good look at you, though, it only takes a moment for them to decide to extort money from you. One of them extends a grimy hand. "Come on, Voles. You want to visit our lands? You have to pay the toll. 10 coins, or you'll regret it." Well, I don't usually like giving bandits my money, but it's true I am a visitor in their land, and 10 coins really isn't that much at this point. You pay. The pale thugs laugh, pocket the coins, bow mockingly, and wander away. Yeah, screw you two. I'm in an entirely different map square now. Just following the river. And now here's something that I'm pretty sure wasn't in Exile 1. You think you see a few ghosts lingering near the edge of this cavern. However, when you get closer, you don't see anything. Must have been your imagination. Alright. You find a small cluster of farms surrounded by dense walls, pits, and fields of caltrops. The people working the rows of mushrooms look scared and ready to defend themselves at a moment's notice. They are having a very hard time scratching out a living. These caves are very marshy and choked with poisonous toadstools and the water has a lot of salt and sulfur. The farmers are getting very little food for their efforts. You start to approach the farmers, but since you're from Avernum, they want nothing to do with you. The savaged and shredded body of a soldier has been left here. He was probably killed sometime in the last year, seared by firebolts. The fragments of armor remaining on the body seem to be from the surface world. How odd. You search the area. What a stroke of luck! As you walk away, you notice something protruding from under a nearby rock. Surprisingly, you find an unbroken wand underneath it. Okay. Looks like I've got a wand of lightning. Barga to the north, beware of giants and bandits. Spire brigands, you are not welcome here. Huh. Perhaps some intercity conflict in the Abyss. They at least have some cows. This is a herd of cave cows, heavily branded and held together with a long length of chain to keep any of them from wandering off. The pale young man looking after them watches you warily as you pass by. When he realizes that you're from Avernum, he grabs the chain and pulls the cows away from you. As he walks off, he spits in your direction. I wonder if I would get different results if I came here with less of a reputation score. And another band of totally not bandits that wants us to pay them. Potentially the same band that just wanders around. And apparently nothing to find over here. So, yeah, the next thing I probably should do is explore Spire and Barga. But I've been at this a little while, my voice is getting a little tired, and I know there's going to be a fair bit of reading in exploring towns and reading out all the dialogue. So I'm going to hold that for the next streaming session. Which, depending on what happens this weekend, could very well be tomorrow or Sunday afternoon. Or evening, or whenever I get around to it. Honestly, I've been having surprisingly good luck with all of these spontaneous, unscheduled live streams with getting people to tune in. So, good night for now. Everybody have a good one until next session.